The rain hammered against the windows of our small apartment in Seattle, each drop echoing the turmoil brewing inside me. My name is Alaric, and until a few weeks ago I thought I had it all: a loving wife, a comfortable life as an IT specialist, and the promise of a bright future. I was 43 and life felt settled. Now it felt like a cruel joke. It started subtly. Vivienne, my wife of 15 years, began acting distant. We'd always been close, sharing everything from our dreams to the mundane details of our days. But lately, she seemed preoccupied, her thoughts elsewhere. Our conversations dwindled, replaced by curt responses and averted gazes. I chalked it up to stress at her job as a marketing manager, a new project that demanded long hours and intense focus. I tried to be supportive, making her favorite meals, running errands, and offering a listening ear. But my efforts seemed to bounce off her like the rain off the glass, leaving me feeling increasingly isolated. The first real red flag came in the form of a text message. I was making dinner one evening when Vivienne's phone, lying on the kitchen counter, buzzed. The message preview flashed across the screen. "Can't wait to see you tomorrow night." My heart skipped a beat. A wave of unease washed over me, a feeling I couldn't quite explain. I knew I shouldn't, but I couldn't resist. I picked up her phone, my hands trembling slightly, and opened the message. It was from a number I didn't recognize, saved only as work project. The full message read, "Can't wait to see you tomorrow night, thinking about all the things we'll do." My stomach churned. Vivienne had been working late on a work project for weeks, often staying out until the early hours of the morning. I had trusted her implicitly, never questioning her dedication or her whereabouts. But this felt different. This felt wrong. I scrolled through the message history, my blood running cold with each passing line. It was filled with suggestive banter, intimate details, and blatant declarations of affection. The work project was clearly not a work project at all. I felt like I'd been punched in the gut. The air left my lungs and I stumbled back, clutching the counter for support. My mind raced, trying to make sense of what I was reading. Vivienne? My Vivienne. The woman I had loved and trusted for 15 years. It couldn't be. There had to be some mistake. Maybe it was a prank, a misunderstanding, but deep down I knew the truth. The evidence was staring me in the face, undeniable and devastating. I spent the rest of the evening in a daze, trying to piece together the shattered fragments of my reality. I replayed our conversations in my head, searching for clues I had missed, for signs I had ignored. I remembered the late nights, the business trips, the sudden changes in her behavior. They all seemed to fit together now, forming a picture of betrayal I couldn't bear to look at. When Vivienne finally came home, she seemed surprised to see me still up. "Alaric, what are you doing? I thought you'd be asleep." She kissed me on the cheek, a perfunctory gesture that felt hollow and insincere. I wanted to scream, to confront her with what I knew, but I couldn't bring myself to speak. I was paralyzed by shock and disbelief, unable to process the enormity of her betrayal. I mumbled something about not being able to sleep and retreated to the bedroom, leaving her in the living room. I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, my mind awash with conflicting emotions: anger, sadness, confusion, and a deep, gnawing sense of betrayal. How could she do this to me? How could she lie to me so easily? Had our entire relationship been a lie, the next few days were a blur. I went through the motions of my daily routine, but I felt like I was living in a dream detached from reality. I couldn't eat, I couldn't sleep, and I couldn't shake the image of Vivienne with another man from my mind. I knew I had to confront her, but I was afraid of what she would say, of the lies she would tell. I was afraid of losing her, even though I knew I had already lost her. Finally, I couldn't take it anymore. One evening, after dinner, I sat Vivienne down in the living room. "We need to talk," I said, my voice trembling slightly. She looked at me, her eyes wary. "What is it, Alaric? You've been acting strange lately." I took a deep breath and plunged in. "I saw your messages, Vivienne, the ones to work project." Her face paled. For a moment she didn't say anything, her eyes darting around the room as if searching for an escape. Then she started to deny it. "Alaric, you don't understand. It's not what you think." "Then what is it, Vivienne?" I asked, my voice rising. "Explain it to me. Tell me why you've been lying to me, why you've been sneaking around behind my back." She hesitated, her eyes filled with tears. "It just happened," she said finally. "I didn't mean for it to go this far." "Who is he, Vivienne?" I demanded. Who is this work project? She wouldn't meet my gaze. It doesn't matter, Alaric. It was a mistake. I regret it. It doesn't matter, I repeated, incredulous. It matters to me, Vivienne. It matters a lot. You've been having an affair, lying to my face, and you're telling me it doesn't matter. She started to cry, her body shaking with sobs. I'm sorry, Alaric. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to hurt you, but you did hurt me, Vivienne, I said, my voice barely above a whisper. You broke my heart. You destroyed our marriage. She reached out to touch me, but I recoiled. Don't, I said. Don't touch me. I stood up and walked out of the apartment, leaving her alone in the living room, her sobs echoing in the silence. I didn't know where I was going, but I knew I couldn't stay there, not for another minute. I spent the night in a cheap motel, the sounds of the city a distant hum in the background. I couldn't sleep, my mind replaying the events of the past few weeks over and over again. I felt like I had been living a lie, that the woman I had loved and trusted was a stranger to me. The next morning, I went back to the apartment. Vivienne was still there, her eyes red and swollen from crying. She begged me to forgive her, to give her another chance. She promised it would never happen again, that she would do anything to win back my trust, but I couldn't. The trust was gone, shattered beyond repair. I couldn't look at her without seeing the lies in her eyes, the betrayal in her actions. I knew that if I stayed with her, I would never be able to truly forgive her, that the shadow of her affair would forever hang over our relationship. I can't do this, Vivienne, I said, my voice flat. I can't stay with you, she pleaded with me, begging me to reconsider, but my mind was made up. I told her I wanted a divorce, that I needed to move on with my life. The next few months were difficult. The divorce was messy, filled with accusations and recriminations. Vivienne tried to paint me as controlling and emotionally unavailable, claiming that her affair was a result of my neglect. But I had proof of her infidelity, the text messages, the phone records, the eyewitness accounts from her coworkers. In the end, the truth prevailed. The divorce was granted, and I was awarded a fair settlement, but the emotional scars remained. I struggled with feelings of anger, sadness, and resentment. I couldn't understand why Vivienne had done what she did, why she had risked everything for a fleeting moment of passion. I felt like I had failed, that I had somehow driven her into the arms of another man. I threw myself into my work, spending long hours at the office, trying to distract myself from my pain. I avoided social gatherings, afraid of running into Vivienne or her friends. I felt like an outcast, a pariah, forever marked by the stain of her betrayal. One day, a few months after the divorce was finalized, I received a phone call from an unknown number. I hesitated before answering, my heart pounding in my chest. "Hello," I said. "Is this Alaric?" A voice asked. "Yes, it is." "Who is this?" "My name is Gareth. I was the work project." My blood ran cold. I gripped the phone tightly, my knuckles white. "What do you want?" I asked, my voice trembling with anger. "I wanted to apologize," Gareth said. "I know it doesn't mean much, but I wanted you to know that I regret what happened. I never meant to hurt you. You regret it," I repeated, incredulous. "You slept with my wife, destroyed my marriage, and you regret it." "I know I messed up," Gareth said. "I was selfish and stupid. I thought I was in love with Vivienne, but I was wrong. She's not the person I thought she was." "What do you mean?" I asked, my curiosity piqued. "She lied to me, Alaric," Gareth said. "She told me you were abusive, that you didn't care about her. She said she was trapped in a loveless marriage and that I was her only escape. But it was all a lie. She just wanted to use me." My heart pounded in my chest. Could it be true? Had Vivienne been manipulating both of us? "After the divorce, she started pressuring me to leave my wife," Gareth continued. "She wanted us to be together, to start a new life, but I couldn't do it. I realized that she was a liar and a manipulator, that she was incapable of genuine love. So I ended things with her, and now you're calling me?" I asked, my voice filled with suspicion. "I just wanted you to know the truth," Gareth said. "I wanted you to know that you weren't the only one she betrayed. She used both of us, and I felt like you deserved to know." I thanked Gareth for his honesty and hung up the phone, my mind reeling. I didn't know what to believe. Was Gareth telling the truth? Or was he just trying to make himself feel better about what he had done? I decided to do some digging. I contacted some of Vivienne's coworkers, people I had met at company events over the years. I asked them about her relationship with Gareth, about her behavior at work. What I learned shocked me to my core. Vivienne had been having affairs for years, long before Gareth came into the picture. She had a pattern of targeting younger, more impressionable men, seducing them with her charm and manipulating them with her lies. She had a reputation at work for being a flirt and a troublemaker, but no one had ever suspected the extent of her deceit. I felt a wave of anger wash over me, stronger than anything I had felt before. I had been so blinded by love that I had failed to see the truth. Vivienne was not the woman I thought she was. She was a master manipulator, a serial cheater who had preyed on my trust and affection. But amidst the anger, I also felt a sense of relief. It wasn't my fault. I hadn't driven her into the arms of another man. She was simply incapable of being faithful, of being honest. I was a victim of her deceit, nothing more. I decided to confront Vivienne one last time. I called her and asked her to meet me at a coffee shop near our old apartment. She hesitated but eventually agreed. When she arrived, she looked nervous and uncomfortable. She avoided my gaze, fidgeting with her hands. "What do you want, Alaric?" she asked. "I know the truth, Vivienne," I said, my voice calm and steady. "I know about your affairs, about your lies, about your manipulation." Her face paled. "What are you talking about?" she stammered. "Don't play dumb, Vivienne," I said. "I know about Gareth, about the other men. I know that you've been cheating on me for years." She started to cry, her body shaking with sobs. "It's not true, Alaric," she said. "You're imagining things." "I'm not imagining things, Vivienne," I said. "I have proof. I've talked to your coworkers, to Gareth. I know everything." She finally broke down, confessing everything. She admitted to the affairs, to the lies, to the manipulation. She said she was sorry, that she regretted everything she had done, but I didn't believe her. Her words felt hollow and insincere, just like they always had. I realized that she was incapable of genuine remorse, that she would never truly understand the pain she had caused. "I don't forgive you, Vivienne," I said, my voice cold. "I don't think I ever will. You've destroyed everything we had, and I can never trust you again." I stood up and walked away, leaving her alone in the coffee shop, her sobs echoing in the silence. I didn't look back. I knew that I was finally free, that I could finally move on with my life. It's been several years since the divorce. I've rebuilt my life piece by piece. I've found a new job, a new apartment, and a new sense of purpose. I've even started dating again, cautiously optimistic about the future. I still think about Vivienne sometimes, about the woman I thought I knew. But I no longer feel the anger and resentment that consumed me for so long. I've come to terms with what happened, to accept that she was not the person I thought she was. I've learned a valuable lesson from my experience, that trust is a precious gift, and that it should be given wisely. I've also learned that forgiveness is possible, even in the face of the deepest betrayal. But forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting. It means accepting the past and moving on, stronger and wiser than before. Vivienne, on the other hand, hasn't fared so well. Her reputation at work was ruined and she was eventually fired. She's bounced from job to job, unable to hold down a steady position. Her relationships have all failed and she's now alone and isolated. Karma, it seems, has a way of catching up with us all. And in the end, I believe that justice was served. I may have been hurt, betrayed, and heartbroken, but I survived. I rebuilt my life, and I emerged from the ashes stronger and more resilient than ever before. And that, my friends, is the ultimate revenge.